Hello everybody, and thanks for joining us today. Today we'd like to cover off some capture tips and tricks. These are designed for people who are already currently on DX2 and would just like a little bit of help on capture. So what we have here is our capture invoice, and let's say we don't have a template already set up for higher up. Now if I can just come straight into the description area, that's where I'd like to concentrate some of our efforts today. So if I click into description, it gives me two options. One is to draw a table, one is to add lines manually. So let's just take a look at this. Adding a line manually, this is useful if this is the only time that you're going to create a template in this sense. So you will be manually entering in all your details. And if you do have the PDF copy open somewhere else, you could potentially copy and paste. But that's not the best way of using this area. So let's take a look at if we drew the table. So a couple of things first to note is that it is only highlighting some of the things that we'd like to capture. This could potentially cause an issue over here. So what this means is that this document is not aligned correctly. And so sometimes moving the columns may work. If it does not work, we recommend simply entering in the detail. So that's one thing that you can do. Now the other thing you notice is that we still need to actually map our values. So now that we've mapped our values, we also should come through and clear these lines. So there's two ways of clearing additional lines. One is very manual, and you just simply select and then you remove these, and then you will be able to remove the selected. That's one way. So if we can just come back and do that again, and we can have a look at the better way. So we've added in our detail, and we'll add in all our values again. And now you can see here where I have my cursor. If I click here, it opens up an area for row specifier. So what I'd like to tell DX2 is that I only want something that has a description, for example, or I only want something that has a subtotal. Both these would work because you've got subtotals and you have descriptions. And as you can see, we would need to again enter in our values. And if we tick our line, you can see that everything we'd like to view is here. Now, while we're on this page, I'd like to just show you something else. So in our From area, so when we capture our information, there's some information that may not change. So for example, the information that relates to the name of the company. So maybe instead of having it by coordinate, we'd like to actually have it by value. So what we're basically saying here is that if higher up changes the way that they invoice us, or they have a new template, there is some information that will not fail. And you can also do the same for other information such as the GSC or ABN number in this case. You could map this by value. And of course, your own details, you may like to also map them by value. So you can go ahead and you can do that with any documents that you have, any templates that you have captured. All right, so while we're still on this page, let's just take a look at another tip and trick that I can share with you. So in our subtotals area, we're able to decide what our tax rate is and whether we want to auto-calculate or not. So if for any reason you're not wanting to capture exactly what's on the invoice, you can remove the selection. You can select your new selection, and you can also amend the tax rate. This will ensure that the correct information is now passed on to your approvals person. Thank you everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more tips and tricks videos.